The rain had a way of exposing who people really were. It blurred the city lights, soaked shoes and coats, and turned every sidewalk into a quiet test of patience and humanity. On that cold gray evening, as most people hurried past with heads down and hearts guarded, one small act of kindness was about to change 2 lives forever. If this story touched your heart, please show your support by liking, sharing, and leaving a comment with your thoughts. Your engagement helps us continue sharing more uplifting and inspiring stories. Morella Haynes had just finished her shift at a modest roadside diner called Blue Fern Cafe. It wasn't the kind of place people remembered for years, vinyl booths slightly torn, coffee always a little too strong, and a bell above the door that rang unevenly. But to Morella, it was everything. It paid her rent, kept the lights on in her tiny apartment, and helped her send a little money each month to her younger brother, who dreamed of college. That night the sky cracked open without warning. Rain poured down hard, relentless, soaking the streets in seconds. Morella pulled her thin jacket tighter and stepped outside, already calculating how long she could stand at the bus stop before her shoes filled with water. That's when she saw him. An elderly man stood just beyond the cafe's awning, hunched slightly, his coat too light for the weather. He clutched a small paper bag to his chest as if it contained something precious. Water streamed down his silver hair and dotted the cracked lenses of his glasses. People brushed past him, umbrellas tilting away, nobody stopping. Morella hesitated. She was exhausted. Her feet ached from standing 10 hours straight, and her manager had already warned her that morning about being too slow during the lunch rush. One mistake, Head said, and she'd be replaced. Jobs were scarce, and she knew how easily kindness could cost you when you had nothing extra to give. Still, something tugged at her chest. She stepped back under the cafe's awning and called out gently, "Sir, are you okay?" The man looked up, surprised, as if he hadn't expected anyone to notice him at all. His smile was small but warm. "I will be," he said, just waiting for the rain to ease. Morella glanced at the sky. It showed no sign of mercy. "Y'all get soaked," she said. "Please, come inside for a moment." He hesitated. "I don't want to be any trouble." "It's no trouble," she replied quickly. "I work here. At least let me get you out of the rain." She held the door open, and the bell rang as they stepped inside. The warmth wrapped around them instantly. The man looked around with quiet curiosity, like someone revisiting a memory. Morella grabbed a clean towel from behind the counter and handed it to him. "Here, dry off." "Thank you," he said softly. "That's very kind." She poured him a cup of coffee on the house and slid it across the counter. He wrapped his hands around the mug, sighing in relief. They talked while the rain hammered against the windows. His name was Edwin Calder, and he spoke with a gentle cadence, choosing his words carefully. He told her Head spent most of his life working with his hands, building things that were meant to last. He didn't mention where he lived, only that he was between places at the moment. Morella didn't pry. She told him about herself, about growing up with a single mother, about learning early how to stretch $1, about how serving tables wasn't her dream but was helping her survive. She laughed shyly when she admitted she wanted to open a small bakery one day, a place where people felt welcome no matter who they were. Edwin listened like it mattered. When the rain finally softened, he stood to leave. Before stepping out, he paused and reached into his pocket, pulling out a few crumpled bills. "For the coffee," he said. Morella gently pushed his hand back. "No, it's on me." He looked at her, eyes shining. "Then I hope life returns the favor." She smiled, holding the door open as he stepped back into the damp evening. The bell rang again, and just like that, he was gone. Marilla didn't think much more about it. She caught the bus home, peeled off her wet shoes, and fell asleep wondering how she'd get through another week of double shifts and mounting pressure at work. The next morning, everything went wrong. The cafe was unusually busy, and Marilla was doing her best to keep up. Orders piled up, tempers flared, and her manager, Roland Pierce, hovered behind the counter, watching every move with sharp eyes. When one customer complained about a late order, Roland snapped. "That's it," he said loudly, pointing toward the back. "I warned you, Marilla. One more issue." Her chest tightened. She tried to explain, her voice trembling, but he cut her off. "We need efficiency, not excuses." Customers fell silent. Marilla felt her face burn as she removed her apron with shaking hands. Losing this job meant losing everything she'd worked to hold together. Then the bell rang. An older man entered the cafe, raincoat neatly pressed, posture straight. He didn't look lost or tired now. He looked purposeful. Roland turned, irritation ready on his face, but the man spoke first. "Good morning," Edwin said calmly. "I'm here to speak with the owner." Roland frowned. "That would be me." Edwin nodded. "Then I'd like a word about her." He gestured toward Marilla. Roland scoffed. "Sir, we're in the middle of—" Edwin's voice remained gentle but firm. "Yesterday evening this young woman showed me compassion when she had every reason not to. She offered warmth, dignity, and kindness without expecting anything in return." The cafe was completely silent now. "I've spent decades in business," Edwin continued, "and I can tell you this: employees like her are not replaceable. They are the soul of a place like this." Roland shifted uncomfortably. "And you are?" Edwin reached into his coat and placed a business card on the counter. Roland picked it up, and his expression changed instantly. Color drained from his face. "I am Edwin Calder," the man said, "founder of Calder Hospitality Group, and I am currently evaluating several small establishments for partnership opportunities." Marilla's breath caught. Edwin turned to her. "You believed in kindness when no one was watching. That tells me everything I need to know." He faced Roland again. "If she leaves, so does my interest." The words hung heavy in the air. Roland swallowed hard. "There's no need for that. Marilla is valued here." Edwin smiled faintly. "I'm glad to hear it." Later that day, Marilla was called into the office. Instead of a termination notice, she was offered stable hours, a raise, and a promise of training opportunities. Roland barely met her eyes. Before leaving, Edwin stopped by her table. "I meant what I said," he told her. "Kindness has a way of coming back even when we don't ask for it." Marilla's eyes filled with tears. "I only did what felt right." He nodded. "Never stop doing that." Weeks passed. Life did become perfect overnight, but it became lighter. Marilla saved a little each paycheck. She started baking again, sharing pastries with coworkers and neighbors. Hope no longer felt like a fragile thing. On a rainy evening, not unlike the first, Marilla stood under the cafe's awning, watching people hurry by. This time, she felt steady, grounded. She understood now that kindness wasn't about wealth or status. It wasn't about recognition. It was about choosing humanity, especially when it was hardest, and sometimes when the rain falls and the world feels cold. One small act can warm more than just a moment. It can change a life.